Hello, my name is Nandan, and today we are going to see a problem called as element distinctness problem, and we are going to prove the lower bound of that problem. So, element distinctness problem is it gives you an array of n elements, and you have to either say yes if all the elements in the array are distinct, or no if at least there is two elements which are equal. So, we are trying to prove the lower bound of this problem is big omega of n log n. So it basically means that you have to perform at least n log n operations and some other constant time operations to solve this problem. No matter how powerful an algorithm is, it has to do n log n comparisons and some additional operations. So that is what we are trying to prove today. And when we see n log n, the most important thing we see is the sorting approach. We basically sort an array of numbers and we compare the numbers, and if there is any same number, then we just output yes or no. So that approach is done using a decision tree. So this is what is a basic decision tree. So let's say we have numbers called 1, 2, and 3. So it just compares 1 and 2. And then if it is 1 is less than 2, then it's comparing 2 and 3. And if it's less than 3, then it's going to result called R1, which is 1, 2, and 3. So decision tree is basically like a set of comparisons to come to a particular result in a specific path. So here the path is this, to sort an array of numbers. So it goes from first to the leftmost and to the leftmost. So we have, you can observe that when the size of the array n is equal to is 3 from here, we can observe that it has n factorial leaves. That is 3 factorial, which is 6. So you can find the leaves R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, and R6. So when we try to prove anything via decision tree, so the most important thing is the time complexity of such a proof is usually big omega times log of the leaves. So here it was n factorial, so it basically becomes n factorial, which again becomes n log n. So, but in our problem, we don't have n factorial, what do we call, solutions. We just have two solutions. The solutions are either yes or no. So if the solutions are only yes and no, that is, if the leaves are only 2, then doesn't that make log 2 is equal to 1? So that means we only have to do it one operation to perform if it is distinct or not. It's not right. So that is the reason we don't use lower bound sorting proof for this approach. We use some other method, some new method that we are going to see. And that method will be used to solve the lower bound of this problem. Okay, so our main claim is to prove that the time complexity of the problem can be done in big omega of n log n. So this is basically our main claim, or its main proof. Okay, so before going to that main proof, we look at some other proofs or some other claims which will lead us to that main proof. So it's a step-by-step process. So the first claim that we have to see is, if I have x, which is an array, say x1, x2, and so on xn, and we have an array y, which is the permutation of x. Okay, so y is basically x, but in a shuffle manner. Let's give it y1, y2, and so on yn. So the sizes of x and y are same, they're just shuffled. So we have to prove that the answer of x, let's assume that x has all the numbers distinct numbers. So obviously the answer of x is going to be yes, and it goes to a leaf node called L, or then answer of y is also yes, obviously, because it's just a permutation of x, is also yes, the answer is also yes. but it goes to a different leaf node called L1, whatever. Okay, so if we were able to prove that like two permutations of the same array can go to the same answer but in different paths, then an array of n numbers will have n factorial permutations. Okay, and that implies we have n factorial leaf nodes. You see the connection, right? So if we have, in fact, if we are able to prove that every permutation of the same array can go to the same answer but a different path, then we'll have n factorial leaf nodes. And so we'll be able to prove that if we have n factorial leaf nodes, we will be able to do our main proof of T of n is equals to big omega of n log n. So how do we prove that our first claim that two permutated arrays go to the same answer but different number, different paths? So we do it this way. So we have x is equal to x1, x2, and so on. Xn, and we have y is equal to y1, y2, and so on. Now let's assume if both of them go to the same answer, and let's assume that the answer of x is equal to yes, and they go to a path called L. So by path, I basically mean this. So you have a decision tree and some other decision tree, and this is yes, this is the leaf node L. So for x, it goes like this and like this. And for y, we also assume it goes like this and like this only. So for x and y, if they are able to go like that, so if both of them have the same path, then we can connect x and y through the same path. So it's basically how we are able to prove that. Okay, so let's just assume that, and answer of y also yes is equal to. So we are assuming this, but we will prove that it's a contradiction, that it is not possible. And how do we prove that? We assume another, let's say both of them go to a path called P. Okay, so now let's assume we have Z, which belongs to path P, such that, okay, Zi is some constant lambda times xi plus 1 minus lambda do yi. So Zi is like a straight line equation. Okay, so if you just have a look at it, it's like C is equal to ax plus by. It's like a line equation, right? So let's just assume for our proof's sake. Now, x and y are permutations of each other. So it is definite that there exists a pair of I and j such that for xi less than xj, there is a yi greater than yj. I'll show you. Let's say that x is 1, 2, and 3, and y is 3, 1, and 2. And let's think that I is 0 and j is 1. In this case, xi, which is 1, is less than xj, which is 2. But yi, which is 3, is greater than yj, which is 1. So you see that, right? So it is possible that there exists a pair of x and y such that xi is less than xj, but yi is greater than yj. This is going to be a very important we have for our proof. So now let's define a function f of w such that it is wi minus wj. Okay. Now, what is going to be f of x? F of x is nothing but xi minus xj. So since xi is less than xj, it's going to be a negative value. Similarly, f of y is going to be a greater value. If f of x is less than 0 and f of y is greater than 0, then the point z, which is in between the path, is going to be a 0. This is because of something called as mean value theorem. Okay, so by mean value theorem, we can get that f of z is greater than 0. That means zi minus zj is equal to 0. That implies zi equals to zj. Okay, now just remember that we got zi and zj are equal. Okay, so let me show you something that we have assumed. We have assumed that, let's say, this is the path of the tree, and we have x here and we have y somewhere, let's say y, and we have this path connecting to each other. We took z, okay, so which falls inside the path. Okay, so we assumed that the path of x is yes, the path of y is yes, and both of them go via L. So if there's a point z which goes through the path, then it should also be yes, and it should also go through the path L. That is obvious, right? But we got zi and zj are equal. That means z is an array of numbers such that zi is equal to zj. That means two numbers in z are equal. They're not distinct. That is, all the numbers in z are not distinct. So which means the answer of z is a no. But what we assumed, the answer of z is a yes. That means the connecting point z is in a no path, not in a yes path. That means x and y are yes, but they're not in the path called L. They're being connected to each other via different path. So you can assume it like this. It's not mandatory, but you can just assume it like this. You have x, you have y, and this has this path, and let's say this has this path. Okay, this is, let's say, L1, this is L2. And you have this path of z, and let's say this is L3. This is Z. Now you are being connected like this. This is Z. You are being connected like this. So X and Y are not connected. Because X and Y are not connected, X and Y are in different paths. And hence, we are able to prove that X and Y get yes, but this is L1 and this is L2, but not L and L. So we are able to prove our claim, our first claim, that if x is a number and y are also numbers which are a permutation of x, answer of x is yes and L, answer of y is yes and L1. So we are able to prove that two permutation of the same array go to the same result but in a different path, which gives us that if there are n size array, then all the permutations which are n factorial go to n factorial paths, which tells us that the number of leaves should be at least n factorial, because we are just considering yes cases. There might be no cases, but let's just consider yes cases. So the number of leaves should be n factorial, and hence the time complexity should be omega of log of n factorial, which is nothing but big omega of n log n. And this proves our main proof that T of n is nothing but big omega of n log n. In a new proof, but not in the sorted lower bound proof. This is a new lower bound proof that has been proposed way back. So this is how it goes. This is how we prove that element designation problem can be solved at least n log n time, and it cannot be solved lower than n log n time. It takes minimum of n log n comparisons or calculations to prove that the array is distinct or the array is not distinct. Thank you.